Katya, how are you feeling today?
I'm good. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Very excited for this episode.
Yeah.
This has been a long time coming.
Looking forward to it.
Great. So, coming to this episode, what were your expectations? Yesterday, we exchanged some emails. I sent you a bit of a brief. What was the
What
first
was
thing that
my
came up?
expectations? I was thinking, wow, first of all, a podcast in Malta, that's rare. So that's first thing. But secondly, I thought leadership growth from within. I really like this because there's a lot of podcasts and there's a lot of conversations, I think, about what you need to do in business strategically, but not a lot of conversations happening about how you as a leader from within and what you can learn and how that impacts everything else. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see what we end up creating from it. But yeah, I'm curious.
Nice. That's actually very encouraging as well, because that's something that we don't usually talk about. In my coaching practice, that's something really that the leadership identity aspect, it's something that it's not really spoken about. And that's something that can be tough as well, because it's a journey that we go through in understanding who we are and how it affects how we show up as leaders, even in business. So what was your experience in starting up your own business in first and foremost?
My starting a business was the funniest thing that ever happened to me because I never tried to do it. It was very accidental. So I used to work in banking in London.
Okay.
And I loved my career very much. I never thought I would quit. Apart from when I found out that my increase in salary was only like £4,000 for the year. And I was like, that's it? Like, I've put so much effort last year and you're only giving me this much. And I just remember thinking, what's the point of working for someone else? I should do something by myself. And when I started the business, it was very accidental how I started posting on social media and grew a following by simply talking about my day-to-day life, and kind of like an influencer, if you want to call,
Okay.
because I was literally just talking about what I'm doing at work, what I'm doing in my life, documenting, not creating.
Yes.
And I grew a following really, really quickly, not understanding why it happened so quickly. And I decided one day on a whim to start a community of other people like me so that I can grow
Okay.
with other people. And within a couple weeks of literally starting that, I was able to replace whatever I was earning in the bank without even trying. Like, I wasn't aiming for that. I was like, let me put this community. I would charge a very minimal monthly fee for it. And when people joined so
Okay.
quickly, I realized that, wow, I don't need the job anymore. And so it was so fast that, I'll be honest with you, I don't think I ever processed what was going through my mind internally.
Okay.
I was just so much in the dopamine of it
For
because
sure.
it was growing so fast and so quickly. And I was literally in August of 2015 thinking, I have this idea for a community. And in by October 10th, I've handed in my notice. It was insane. It was insane.
Very fast.
Very fast. So I say, in my journey of becoming an entrepreneur, starting a business was the easiest thing I ever did, but growing it was actually what I found way more challenging. So yeah, I never had issues starting.
What's interesting and why do you think people resonated so much with the stories, with the documentation that you were posting on social media?
I'll tell you what they said.
Okay.
They said that they found me a breath of fresh air. I was very young. I was 23, and I was
Okay.
this powerhouse of a. I don't care what people think. I'm just here to tell you everything I know.
Okay.
And so I think what they found most inspiring was the delivery, not my knowledge. Like, it wasn't like I was teaching something groundbreaking. I was barely in my 20s. I've been working in corporate for less than 2 years. So I was very green, but it was the delivery. I think they found it very fun. I think they found my delivery very inspiring. And I think they also saw more in me than I saw. Like, I think people
Okay.
always told me, like, you just seem so ambitious and so dynamic. And I kept thinking, really? Why? So I'll be honest, I didn't really get it at first. I did not understand it. And I just remember the first time I went live, because that's how I started. I
Yeah.
started with live streaming,
Okay.
not with pre-recorded production.
On which platform?
Periscope.
Okay.
I was like one of the very first users on Periscope, and I was terrified of it, but I got kind of like a dare, like you must go live next, you must go live next. So I
Okay.
got dared to do it. And I just remember being so nervous in my bedroom, yet the comments were all saying like, "Oh my God, you're amazing. Oh my God, you're so fun. Oh my God, you're this." And I was thinking, really? I don't see it. What are you seeing? So I think it was the reaction from the audience that really was the biggest transformation for me, because it made me realize that there is something there that even I don't realize about myself.
And what did it teach you about yourself?
I think it taught me that I was meant to be on camera, and that I was meant to be a brand, if you want to call it. That I was meant to put myself out there, and that was my strength. And that is something that I completely rejected. I used to think, who am I to be on camera? Why is anybody going to
Classical
listen to
imposter
me?
syndrome, yeah.
Why is anyone going to listen to me? I have a funny accent. At the time, I didn't think I was attractive enough to be on camera. I was thinking, oh, people are going to judge me. They're going to, call me big. They're going to call me this. They're going to judge my eyebrows. I was incredibly terrified of it all. And my experience was completely the opposite. And that's what I think was most transformational, to see that actually the worst thing that I imagined about myself and the worst thing I told myself, I didn't hear that from the actual audience.
Mm-hmm. And from what I'm hearing, it sounds refreshing as well that people proved you wrong.
Yeah.
To some extent.
Yeah,
So that must
I
have
think
been
so.
refreshing.
Yeah, it's like, wow, you guys are better than I thought. You're
Not so mean.
kinder. I thought, wow, the world out there is kinder than I expected.
Okay.
And it kind of made me think, maybe I'm the one that's too judgmental. Maybe I'm the one that has way too high expectations of myself, and maybe the rest of the world are normal people that
Yes.
actually see both good and bad, whereas all I saw was the bad.
Sometimes we tend to assume the worst, right?
Yes.
So sometimes it's nice to be optimistic about people and then life in general.
Yeah, that's not something that comes natural to me. Optimism. I grew up in Bulgaria, post-communism, and all we know is anxiety. And I don't trust people, and I don't know that's all we know. That's all I know that I grew up with. So I think that's the challenge.
How did you manage to break through that?
I left.
Apart from
I left at 19. At 19, I took a student loan.
Okay.
I packed my bags with zero connections and very little money, a couple £100. I packed my bags. I moved to the UK, and I found myself a new environment. Just created a whole other perspective for me, and that was the secret. Really, it's changing my environment, changed the feelings. Now, when I say change the feeling, doesn't mean the feelings of fear and anxiety and all these things disappeared, because I think those things, they stay with you, but they don't run the show anymore. And I think being surrounded by other people who are working on other projects, and not in that fear and not in that state of anxiety, I think helps a lot.
And for me, what I'm hearing the most is the change in environment.
Yeah.
I think that's a very powerful one, because I think we underestimate how much our environment affects us. I mean, it's a simple thing that I do. Once I finish a project, I try to clean my desk, and then it gets messy again, and then I clean it again. And that process of cleaning your desk, also, it is refreshing enough. So imagine if you can scale it up, going into another country.
Clean desk, clean mind.
For sure. That applies for me for sure.
100%. I think, even in the home, I always notice the same in me. If my home is tidy and clean, I feel clearer, more creative.
Yes.
So definitely a big fan of that.
Something that you said also, Katya, is that starting the business tends to be easier than we think, let's say, or natural in
For
your
me, it
case?
was. I've seen people have completely the opposite experience. In fact, I would say I'm the anomaly. What I notice with people, most people, is they struggle to start. They either overthink the idea or they pick the right idea, but it's very difficult to start and get their first client, to get their first customer through the door. Getting their first 100 followers is, I always say, as I work with a lot of businesses looking to grow their presence, I always say to them, your first 1,000 subscribers, your first 1,000 followers are going to be the hardest. And
sure.
usually they are. Whereas for me, I literally went from 0 to 1,300 followers in the first 3 weeks. For me, starting was the easiest thing. And personally, I think that's always been a strength of mine. Starting projects, launching things, that's always been the easiest things for me. Finishing things has always been challenging. Finishing things, I have a lot of unfinished projects that I've started in my life, but the right projects, I can obsess over them, hashtag ADHD, and go obsessively towards them long enough that they do actually take off and they do have a life of their own, so to speak.
Yes.
Yeah.
What were the most challenging elements for you to maintain the business running? Because I do resonate with that quite a
Yeah.
bit. There are a lot of
Yeah.
variables that can go wrong
Yeah.
or they don't work out as you initially
Yeah.
planned. So what was the hardest part for you to
A
maintain?
couple. I would say one thing that I found challenging was when I started, I was good at the marketing piece and I was good at getting visibility, putting myself out there, making videos, anything I needed to market the business, I did it. But I very quickly learned that just being visible and just being seen isn't enough to be trusted, to be respected. I realized very quickly that actually as a 23-year-old somebody, I'm competing with marketing and business moguls that have been in the business for 30 years, and they had so much more authority, so much more trust, so much more experience. And I realized that I couldn't just get more views, and that would be that, because you think, oh, if as long as I get this amount of views, this many leads, you think the math works that way. But actually, what I realized is that if I focus more on building authority and building credibility, then the same marketing numbers are going to get me way more output. So I always was the kind of person that always looked for, how do I create the most leverage rather than how do I put the most effort? Because I think we all know that more effort does not equal more result.
No, not necessarily.
Exactly. And so that's what I kind of focused on. I focused on, okay, what do I need to do to build credibility? Step one, I have to get really good at what I do. So I'm going to study. I'm going to study marketing psychology, brand psychology. I'm going to put the 10,000 hours and study the greatest, the best. I'm going to study what the big brands are doing. I'm going to study what the small brands are doing. And I'm going to study, right? I'm going to study. I'm going to create a lot of content, and I'm going to create authority building content, not just noise. I'm not going to just post random things that make no sense. I'm going to be intentional. I'm going to be strategic. I made that promise very early on. I said to myself, I'm not here to just build social media to make friends. I'm here to build a career. I'm here to build a platform that makes a huge impact. And so I focused on that big time. I focused on that, writing, a lot of writing, pitching stories in the media, getting featured in the media, and actually featuring as an expert so that I can position myself as an expert. And really the biggest thing was to work with as many clients as possible and get them as good results as possible. Because if you can get a happy client, they'll refer more clients.
For sure.
But I think that's probably one thing I did differently, because most people just focus on referrals. They think, as long as I have happy clients, more will come. Whereas I said, no, yes, I need the good client results, but I also need the media and the content and the brand and the visuals. And I said, I'm not going to be one of these business owners that goes away because they're brilliant at what they do, but they don't market themselves enough. I said, to me, marketing and client results equal priority. They're not, one is not more important. I'm just going to focus on client delivery and hope that marketing sorts itself out. That's just wishful thinking. And so I think that's what I found challenging, that I had to not just market, I had to build credibility, and that's a 365-day-a-year job. That's not something you can just switch off, right?
In that case, what was the bigger transformation that you saw in yourself? Because you went from someone who didn't believe that you could be in front of a camera.
No,
What was the biggest transformation
not
that
a chance.
happened, that now you're building credibility?
I'll be honest with you. I think this is a funny one, but to me, the biggest transformation happened was, I think, when I hit my first 100K. I was 25. And I said to myself, wow, I don't have to worry about money ever again. Because I think growing up, that was a big thing for me. That was my biggest concern. Because, my family did not have a lot of resources. Everything was very limited. And all I heard growing up was, you can have this or this, you can't have both. And I think the 25, when I hit my first $100,000, I think I realized, wow, just because I grew up with all these beliefs and all these scarcity mindset that I had doesn't mean that I cannot. So, you know what it made me realize? That you can have the worst mindset, but if you put yourself out there, if you just have the bravery to put yourself out there, to be brave and share your message, share your story, it doesn't matter how bad your mindset is. If people see value in what you have, they're gonna pay for it. And I think that was very refreshing, because I used to think that your mindset was set, and that your mindset was your mindset was kind of like a diagnosis that was, well, that's it. I'm somebody that grew up without much, so therefore people like me don't get to, I don't know. I always thought I would do I always thought I would do better than my family. I always thought I would do well. But I always thought I would do well in relation to what I would have done in Bulgaria. So when I was working in the bank, I started on 22,000 pounds a year, and I thought I hit the jackpot. I thought, like, whoa, I'm rich. I felt rich at 22,000 pounds a year. And so imagine me hitting 100K, and I'm like,
I'll be very richer.
And that wasn't sales, by the way. That was profit. That was like 100K I've made in profit. And I was like, and I thought 22K I was rich. And now I was like, no, I feel free. I think that's it. I felt free, and I felt endless possibilities. And that then translated into me being able to get much braver, right? Hire people to support me, invest more in advertising, and get more audacious with the marketing, and experiment more and do some crazy things. Started traveling. So I think the transformation came from not feeling so scared anymore and not have to hold on things, and I just realized, oh, I'll be fine. And the craziest thing was, because at the time I've already kind of built a good reputation. I also felt that even if I lost it all, I can rebuild easily again. And I think that's actually the biggest thing. I think a lot of people are scared that they could lose everything, but because I built a personal brand, because I had a reputation, well, if I lost a business, I just start another one.
Yes. So it's like once you crack the code of something, it's like, okay, I can redo it, I can replicate what I've done.
Easy.
Just in a different way. Even the product can change.
Easy.
But you know that you can do it. You you know that you can create something out of thin air in a way.
Out of thin air, exactly. I use that term all the time.
Okay.
Because it's like, literally, what do you mean? I just sat on the chair, had an idea, turned it into a workshop, for example.
Yes, yes.
And I charge, I don't know, $50 for it. And like 100 people bought it. What? Like, that's exactly it. That's thin air. That is out of thin air. You know, you don't have an office.
Yes.
You don't have electricity bill. You don't have a car that you have to pay. It was just, what's the expense? My brain, my
Just
time.
expressed your idea
Yeah,
onto a camera.
exactly.
And the mic.
And people pay for it. Mind blowing.
What would be your advice for someone starting today?
Yeah.
What would be your advice?
I would say build a personal brand, but don't do it like an influencer.
Okay.
So a lot of people start personal brands and they go, here's a day in the life, and here's my smoothie, and here's my dog. No. Think about the difference between Simon Sinek and Paris Hilton. Both are fabulous. They both make great money, but I would personally recommend that you approach building a personal brand more like Simon Sinek, right? Because no one cares about Simon Sinek's breakfast. What they care about is the wisdom in his mind, right? Whereas Paris Hilton, she has a fabulous personal brand as a fashion icon. But to this day, this woman is so brilliant, so creative, so artistic. She does so many things. She does DJ. She writes books. She makes movies. She's a genius powerhouse. She might even be smarter than Simon Sinek, yet she's still underestimated every single day because the way she's being positioned from day one is an influencer. She's the original influencer. And unfortunately, in our society today, people do not respect influencers. They think their job is easy. They think they're spoiled. They think that, oh, you don't do much. Like, I think there's this perception of influencers that they're just not, that they're just entertainers. And she is so much more. She's so brilliant, yet constantly underestimated. Whereas you look at Mel Robbins, Simon Sinek, Gary Vaynerchuk, Brené Brown. These are respected thinkers that people follow for their wisdom, for their expertise, for their knowledge. And they get the freedom to not have to show their life so much and to keep their privacy and to not have to show their kids or whatever. And so my advice would be build a personal brand that's authority-led, focused on your wisdom, on your experience, on your knowledge. Don't build like an influencer because you will get pigeonholed and you can go 20 years as an influencer and you can achieve so much in your life and people are still going to underestimate you and go, oh, she's just an influencer. Oh, Paris Hilton, she's just an influencer. What do you mean? This is like $1 billion. Like, she makes way more money than Simon Sinek, yet she doesn't get the level of respect she deserves because they don't see her as a thinker, an authority, a leader. They see her as an influencer, which is a shame.
For sure. And you're reminding me of the first impression that we do on people. So if just to paraphrase what you've said, Katya, it's like building a personal brand, but also pitch your best version of yourself in the way that you like to be seen from the outside, because first impressions do count. So if the first impression that people get from you as an influencer, you're signaling a type of individual.
Yes.
So are you sure that you want to signal that type of individual? I think I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That
and by the way, if you do want to be an influencer, if you do want to go that creator route, go for it. It's just that I tend to attract more of the people that are intellectuals. I attract a lot of experts. Like, you're an expert in your field, right?
Thank
You have wisdom, you have knowledge, you have a master's degree in organizational psychology. That's what you want people to respect you for, right?
For sure.
You want people to, when they think about your expertise, you want them to think of you. And so to be respected for the wisdom and for the work, that's the ultimate, I think that's the ultimate win for leaders and experts like you and I. If you want to be an influencer, let's say you say to me, Katya, you know what? I've had enough of this. I'm bored. I want to be a chef and I want to be a food influencer. And I just want to create content about food and make people eat delicious meals and recipes. That's a whole other conversation, and I'm never going to stop you from doing that because there is a time in your life that you might just want to do something that's more fun and say, screw authority building, screw all of that. So it's not you must do it this way or else, but it's more if you have expertise and you want people to pay big bucks for the expertise, sell the expertise, not your smoothie, you know? That's not to say, never post anything about your personal life, but it is to say, be intentional. And the things that you do post, make sure they add value in some way. I always say this to my clients. I say, does this add authority or take away credibility? Does this add credibility? Does it take away credibility? Because everything you post does one of those two things. It either adds or it takes away.
For sure.
It adds or it takes away. It doesn't even have to be your smoothie. Anytime you come on the internet and you, you post something offensive, that takes credibility, right? Anytime you post something that is random, that takes away credibility. So being intentional, I think that's my message. When you're building a business, build a personal brand that's intentional and focus on authority more than you focus on attention, because it's very easy to get distracted with, I'll just do whatever gets me the most views and the most attention.
Posting for the sake of posting, for
example.
posting
for the sake of posting. I think we could have gotten away with that 10 years ago, but in today's AI world where there's a lot of AI content that is posted for the sake of the posting, you need to differentiate.
Yes.
And the only thing that you can differentiate with is authority, because AI doesn't have authority. AI, it has the ability to get the attention. 100%. AI content, it's getting so good. You're not going to be able to tell. In 12 months' time, you will not be able to tell if it's a real video of you or not.
There are some videos that are very, very, very real that you wouldn't be able to tell.
I can tell because I am an expert at it all, and I can tell, but most people can't. You're right. Most people cannot tell. The photos are there. The photos are already...
Even the videos are there.
The videos, give it 12 months and it's going to be undistinguishable. So in that time so you have 12 months to build authority, to build authority and trust, so that when the AI content floods social media and the LinkedIn and the websites and the blogs and the video, even YouTube, it's flooding. Then the only thing you have is the trust and your reputation.
How did it transform your landscape? So AI, how did it transform the way you do your work in your area?
So massively. I have ADHD, like I said, and I have a million ideas every minute. Too many ideas. And one of the biggest things that AI has helped me do is to launch them much quicker. So one of my greatest hacks that I do is that I use it for is I would be cooking breakfast and I would have this fantastic idea for a post. And instead of making a video and recording myself while I'm cooking, which was not the best lighting, I just open AI and I dictate my post. I dictate the full thing. And I say, this is what I want to say. This is how I want to say it. And then I literally say it. I say it as if I'm writing the post. And then I just say at the end, so
it becomes
and then I just say, do not change anything about this. Just fix the grammar.
Yep.
And make a post. And then it would produce exactly what I would write with polished typos, because ADHD makes a lot of typos. It's exactly what I'd say, exactly how I'd edit it. I say, do not anything else. And so it's helped me produce so much more. and so much better quality as well. People think, oh, AI is just rubbish, it just produces rubbish. It's how you use it. It's a tool, it's a resource, and if you outsource your thinking, if you outsource it, if you ask it to give you the ideas, you will be disappointed unless, and there's a big but, if you are like me and you have thousands of posts from over the years and articles and everything, and then you train AI on your brain, then it actually can start produce like you. It actually now can, because it's no different than studying a writing style and then recreating the style yourself. It's the same thing. So now, earlier today, I was talking to my fiance who works with me in the business, and I wrote this About Me page that I wrote myself, and I said to him, can you read it and like tell me what you think? Next thing, he's not just read it, he put it in AI to say, I really like this. Can I have a version of this for myself? And it created the same structure, but in his voice, in his experience, in his everything. So it was great. It was amazing. But you know, he didn't go to AI and say, write about me. He said, no, here's a structure that I like.
Like the boundary.
Exactly. Here's the structure that I like. Now let's fill it with my information. I think that's the biggest value add that people miss, is that AI is just so great at studying patterns and structure and format that you can create things that are consistent. Like one of the biggest things about businesses that they struggle with is, you know, making sure everything has to be on brand. Like whether you're writing on the website or on LinkedIn, the tone of voice has to be the same. With AI, it doesn't matter who's using it. The whole team can absolutely do it on brand for everybody. And personally, I'm a big believer in it. I'm not saying that it's perfect. I'm not saying that it doesn't have ethical considerations. It does. For example, I'm not the kind of person that would I don't know, never take somebody else's social media post. Like I'm not going to take your social media post, copy it and say, rewrite that and then post that as my own. I think that's a very lazy way of using AI, right?
And unethical as well to some extent.
Right? But I think a lot of people don't realize, a lot of people think that what people do is they go to AI and say, write me this, when no, there's another way of using it. Go to AI and tell it what to write and just let it do the writing, like what I do, which is, here's what I want to write, here's what I want to say. Like right now, I would literally be on AI and say exactly what I'm telling you now. And then at the end, I'll say, okay, now turn that into a caption for Instagram.
For sure.
Everything I just said, turn it into a caption and it will be perfect. I also have one other use for AI, which is I have trained a version of me that is a bit more bold, a bit more audacious. Because when I'm at my flow, I'm actually very opinionated and very sassy and very just, my clients say mic droppy.
Okay.
I don't know if that's true, but that's what they say. You just drop a lot of mic drops. So I trained AI on my most mic droppy kind of thing. So now anytime I write a post,
so like the punchline kind of
the punchlines,
statement.
like that, oh my God, this is a tweetable that needs to be repeated everywhere kind of thing. So now I've trained a version of me on my most mic droppy, most sarcastic, most like opinionated pieces. So now anytime I write something and I read it and I write it and I'm like, this is good, but it's not like 10 out of 10. It's like 8 out of 10. So I just run it through my trained AI. That's like the sassier version. I run it through that and then it spits out exactly my voice, but my more bolder, more audacious self. And so this way I can spice things up if I want to. So that's another great use. Yeah.
Because sometimes we hold the limiting beliefs that hold us back from actually voicing what you want to voice
And we
out.
filter.
Yes. So you created a version
Yeah.
of yourself that has
Yeah.
no filters, let's say.
You can also do it the other way around. Maybe you're the kind of person that has no filter.
Yes.
So then you create an AI version of you that's actually like a bit more filtered and a bit more
Yes.
okay. Because if you're a business owner, you have a company, you can't just post your opinions, your personal opinions on the company's
they are.
account, right?
Yes.
Or let's say your company's they're going through a crisis.
Yeah.
There's like a public PR crisis that you have to navigate. Well, if you write out your response in emotion and it's very very bad and it's very emotional, it can backfire. But you can run it through a trained AI version of you that speaks authentically, understands your values, understands your beliefs.
Yes.
And then you actually create a more neutralizing statement that's more aligned, because you're not lying, you're filtering through emotions and making sure that you're actually releasing a statement that represents your company in the best possible light.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a big fan of it being used as a assistant, right? I haven't personally replaced anyone on my team with it, but everyone on my team uses it, and everyone on my team is a master at it. So that's the difference. I've taken the
Yes.
approach of my entire team is AI masters, and our customers. We teach our customers, and we went big on actually teaching them AI visuals,
Okay.
AI ads, AI copy, AI everything to do with marketing. Yeah, because we wanted to make sure even our clients are ahead of the curve, and yeah, that has been a whole interesting game as well. But personally, I'm a big believer that it's you can't let the cat out of the bag, and we just have to hope that
Yes.
we just have to hope that we don't reach a place that AI takes over the entire humanity. But here's the
Hopefully
thing,
not.
that there is a chance
Yes.
that we won't even be here in 10 years time. There is a massive chance, but there's nothing we can do to stop it. Nothing. I can't stop it. So at least what I'm gonna do is help to create more of the body of work that I want to put into the world,
Yeah.
that I think is going to make the biggest impact. And all I can do is just hope that
Yeah.
other people can do good with it. But it's one of these things that it's out of our control.
Definitely.
I'm hopeful. There's
Let's
a
be
small chance.
optimistic.
There's a small chance doomsday is coming. But hey, if it comes, none of us is going to be here to even. None of it is going to be here to even tell.
We're trying to be optimistic
happen.
about it.
Right? I am optimistic. I give it a tiny chance, but it's an interesting discussion. It's an interesting thing to think about, I think.
Katya, you mentioned your team quite frequently in our conversation. How is it? I'm assuming that your team is remote or semi-remote?
Fully
Completely
remote. I
How is
have
it like?
people in Saudi Arabia. I have people in Belgium, UK. I have a Russian living in Czech Republic. I have from all over the world, and most of them were clients of mine first. They were
Really?
students.
Okay.
Yeah, they were students who loved what I taught, and then wanted to join in
Okay.
and contribute. Nobody is full time. We have a very lean operation, and we are very, very independent. Very, like, nobody is micromanaged, or it's like everyone is kind of like their own kind of little function. And personally, we live in Slack.
Okay.
We live in Slack, and it's very chill nowadays. We have I think it all ebbs and flows with my energy. I'm, like I said, ADHD. I'm very all in or all out. I have my periods of
High intensity, high energy.
dopamine releasing, let's go, we're 100 miles an hour, and then we have our periods that are very chill and very quiet. And yeah, you have to know yourself. You have to surround yourself with people that can handle that.
Yeah.
Not everyone can handle that
For
kind
sure.
of
Energy and
no,
and
not everyone can
intensity.
handle that. It's very important that you, as a leader, you surround yourself with people that not just tolerate that, they have to thrive on it. That's my philosophy. And I'll tell you and that might be more interesting for you. My most actually important belief about team building is that I'm a big user of all sorts of personality profiling.
Okay.
And I make sure that the team is in perfect sync. So everyone fits all of the...
Which tool do you use for personality profiling?
My favorite one is actually Wealth Dynamics.
Okay.
I really like that because it's very easy. But I also a massive Jungian psychology geek. So the audience would know the MBTI, but the MBTI is... It's just a test. That's not what Jungian psychology is,
yes,
but
it's based on archetypes.
Exactly. So I use a lot of that. I'm also, I don't know how you feel about that. I also like human design and astrology. I don't know how you feel about those.
I'm interested. I would say I had a client of mine who asked me to do it together in one of our sessions. I think it's an interesting take. I think we can not only absorb knowledge, but most things can be taken with a pinch of salt. It depends on what you believe and what not to believe. But I think it's an interesting take on things.
Well, I would say to anyone that doesn't believe in astrology, if you read my chart and you read my life, you would be like, what the hell? Like the greatest example I give is there's a astrology sub part of astrology called astrocartography, which is basically based on your date of birth. What are the countries and the areas that you feel that you're going to feel a certain way or not feel a certain way?
Oh, interesting.
And I kid you not, where I'm born in the northwest of Bulgaria, I kid you not, my astrocartography chart says you're going to leave. It's not a matter of when, it's about how fast. This place is going to make you feel suffocated, so you're going to leave as soon as you can. And I didn't know that until I was like in my 30s, and I've left when I was 19. My astrocartography says you're going to leave this place and never come back. Now, what was interesting is the beach area of Bulgaria said, actually, that's a great place for you. And I remember growing up in Bulgaria, my favorite time of the year was the summer when we went to the beach, if we went to the beach.
And you came to an island.
And I came to an island, right? So growing up, I just remember always having good memories on the beach, but otherwise, I just always felt like this doesn't feel right. And my astrocartography says, yeah, you're meant to leave, and it's interesting because that's just based on your date of birth, and that's just one tiny example. There's like a million examples for my chart, but anyway, I use astrology with my team too. So I use astrology to understand my teams.
Okay.
And also, I'm a huge geek on compatibility with those profiles. So, for example, if you're this profile, those are your most compatible types. So that's what I always do when I hire people. I always looked for compatibility. I didn't look for camaraderie, because camaraderie I can have with anyone, but I looked for compatibility. Like, can you handle my chaos? And in Wealth Dynamics, for example, there's like four qualities that every team needs.
Yep.
So I have the team that covers all four. And it's like, wow, no wonder we work so easy and so harmonious, and there's no drama, and anytime there's drama, it's because somebody is too similar to me and there's clash, right?
You're butting heads.
Exactly. So like, I'm a creative. Imagine me bringing another creative with their ideas and tastes. It's
I appreciate
challenging.
you mentioning this, because most business owners or most companies, I believe that this goes undervalued quite often, how compatible people are to work in a team.
I think it's the greatest hack.
It's very for me, of course, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
I understand why it's underrated, because recruitment and search and selection can be a bit of a time-consuming thing, and you don't always find the candidate that you're looking for. So you end up choosing the person that you might think might fit in the most. But actually, if we go through this route,
this saves it, because you know what I do? This is what I do. I know what profile I am, and I don't design a role. I design a profile based on the aspects of the personality.
Yeah.
And I design an application process that would suit them. So for example, there are certain personality types that are never going to fill a long form.
Yeah.
But they will send a 10-minute video, and they would not, that would be like the easiest thing for them. Yeah, I just want to send a video.
Okay.
And so I knew when I hired for one role, particularly, which was for a relationship manager, community manager, I knew that would be a people person, and they're not going to want to fill a 30-minute form.
For sure.
Because that's like a back-end operational kind of person. But I knew they would send the videos. So I made the application form be a video. And then when they apply, if I like them, if they fit, the first thing I do is I get them to take all the profilings that I do. That's the first thing I get them to do. This way I'm able to very quickly, it's like I'm looking for this profile. Yeah. I found the profile. And then guess what happens? They start, and it's like the easiest onboarding, it's everything, it just flows. It's easy. And that's not to say that I don't give chances to somebody does it, because like I said, I don't just use one. Like one mistake people might do is they pick one profiling and then they pigeon. Like I don't think that's right either. You have to be very careful. You have to make sure that you are considering from all angles. So that's why I use many different tools and many different modalities on top of real experience.
And role specific as well.
Everything, exactly. But personally, I've had more success when I use the tools than if I don't use the tools.
Yes.
Because if you don't use the tools, you just end up picking someone that you like. But that doesn't mean that they're the right person for the role. Yes. And you know what? I also use it for their benefit too, because if you have a team that if you have somebody that joins your team and they want to give it a chance into a role that isn't suitable for them, that's going to take a massive toll on their confidence.
For sure.
And so what I actually see it as is, not only do I use it to hire people, but I use it to develop them and say, wow, I can see that you have so much, like I think about my fiance who I work with. We're completely opposites, and he has really, really high on the systems part, and he is brilliant at automations. But if I didn't do the profiling, I may have not noticed that. And so I go, well, let's focus more on automations. You should learn AI automations. Let's get you on this and this and this and this. And those things end up much easier than if I'm trying to push to him like, oh, you should write copy.
Yes.
Or you should do something creative. Like if I try to push somebody to do something creative when they're designed to build automations, you're literally like hurting them.
No, I think it's a win-win.
Yeah.
It's a win from even time aspect as well, because you're not spending time trying to find someone that to your liking, let's say, and then you're not employing someone who is spend 6 months to training on board and then mingle with the team, but then realize that there's no compatibility. But you're in premise, you're already having that kind of conversation and making sure that the person fits with the team as well. So that actually will pay off really well in the future, I suppose.
Exactly. I'm a big fan. And when you start looking at successful companies and you realize that actually each of them have
some kind of
all
tool
of
that
these
they use.
elements, you're like, oh, I see. So that's the visionary, that's the integrator, that's the deal maker. It's like, wow, I can see how it fits together.
And you're playing by everyone's strengths that way as well.
Exactly. And it kind of opens up opportunities as well, because suddenly you're no longer, oh, I'm only good at this, therefore the business can only do this. No, it's like, what could the business do? Who can you bring on board to actually expand the business, even doing things that you can't do?
For sure. Katya, from a client point of view now, how is it like working with you?
Nowadays, very rare to work with me actually nowadays, because I focus so much on the student aspect that I completely went. You know, when sometimes you have, okay, I've worked with so many clients, and now I just want to just enjoy the passive income life a little bit. So I had that over the last few years. And I worked with a couple clients that were like crazy successful. Like one of them was like $100 million company that wanted to make billions, right? And then another one was another personal brand influencer that was making $30 million and wanted to scale even more. And what I loved about working with people like that was that they're the kind of people that are already doing well.
Yeah.
All they need is like one shift, and it changes everything for them, right? So those are my favorite clients. My favorite clients are the ones that they come in, they already have a good business going, they have their clients love them, they're good at what they do, they're credible, but there's just something missing that once we do the switch, and very often it's as simple as a shift in positioning. Like sometimes, I always tell, in my industry, we use a lot of landing pages and sales pages. And I always tell people, sometimes one headline change can double your conversion. Literally the headline. So that's what I do for people. I'm like, I help them find the headline that actually makes the biggest difference. And so I tend to be very, very fast-paced and moving fast. So I love to work with people who move really fast. And so nowadays, now that I've had my few years of going all passive and everything, now I'm starting to get back and do more. Like for health reasons, I couldn't travel, I couldn't do anywhere. But now, this year and going forward, I want to do more speaking. I want to do more workshops. So one of the things that I could do for the clients now is actually to train in their companies and to train their teams and to work with the leaders in their office, wherever it is.
You mentioned training in creating content, engaging
training in marketing, AI, branding, but a lot of the time it's like they would say, okay, we really want to tackle TikTok. So I'm very good at coming in and actually helping them do a TikTok strategy so that the team can implement it. Or some of my favorite things nowadays is actually to help. Okay, so the company goes, okay, we have reached our plateau. We really need to put our leader, our CEO, our founder, or face, and we really need to have a face of the company, because I think people are realizing that people buy from people. And Stephen Bartlett, any business he attaches his names to becomes a crazy success because of the Diary of the CEO podcast. So people are realizing that. So now some of my favorite people to work with are to say, actually, we have a business, we have a CEO, but the CEO has been behind the scenes for the last decade. So I have this headline that I use with people. I say, you spend the last decade of your life building a successful business, but you want to spend the next decade of your life building a brand. And so those are my favorite people that are like, okay, you're ready to step out as the founder, as the leader, and you're ready to put your message out there beyond just the business. It's like you actually want to build a personal brand and share what you stand for, and the business becomes successful as a result. So those are my favorite people to work with, my favorite companies. So yes, I would train their teams in their offices, because the whole team needs to be on board. The whole team needs to be on board of capturing content from the founder and building an editing team in-house, building a content production team. All of those things, they need to be put in place. Like people think, oh, just take your video and start filming. No, there's a whole production chain.
For sure.
There's a whole production chain for content creation, for visual creation, for I even say to people, when you grow a brand, there comes a point where you need to have even an in-house PR,
For sure.
a PR manager, because if you build enough attention, you have to make sure that every single post goes through QA checks. One, to make sure it's on brand, but second, to make sure that it doesn't put the business at risk. So it's very, very important that those things are considered. So very often people think that they hire me and they think, oh, I'm just hiring her to tell me what to do. Whereas half the time I'm telling them what not to do as well.
Okay.
Like,
For sure.
definitely don't do that. Definitely don't do that. This is going to chip out credibility. This is going to not add any value. Most of the time, what people think is value isn't actually what the audience wants anyway. So I think that's the biggest challenge for businesses today.
What's the greatest gaps that you find, or
Yeah.
you or your team, entering a businesses? What are the gaps or skill gaps that you find?
I think because the businesses are so focused on the doing, like let's say like you, a training educational company, like maybe let's take this as an example yourself. How long have you been doing what you do?
5 years.
5 years, okay? And how many hours would you say you've put in it? Like
Training.
just everything. Like think studying, like studying your subject of expertise. Thousands, probably,
Very hard
right?
to quantify. Yep.
Okay. So you have something that I call the curse of knowledge, which is you know too much about your topic. In fact, you know so much about your topic. You are so detached from not knowing about your topic that what you think people need to know might not be what people need to know. And in fact, what you think might be valuable might be too jargony for your perfect client. Right? So let's workshop this. So
For sure.
let's give me I don't know, give me a pain point that a client might come with.
Having difficult conversations.
So they're afraid
To speak about difficult things at work, related to performance, related to behavior, related to things that they don't want to see at the place of work, or the relationship is not working very well.
Yeah, great. So you might think that a valuable content idea would be, here's how to have difficult conversations with your team. Okay? But I would say that is that could be valuable, but there's a lot more valuable content that you could be creating, and it is hidden underneath what that actually creates.
Okay.
So when you don't have difficult conversations, right, I would then go deeper with you and say, if they don't have the difficult conversations, what happens to the business?
Is that an actual question?
Yeah.
For sure. There's more fear, because there's more fear. There is lack of trust. And when there's lack of trust, the business start to crumble because relationships start to crumble.
Yep. And so when it crumbles, what happens?
Usually productivity decreases, there's more detachment, lesser NPS score when it comes to customer satisfaction. So the relationship then becomes more sterile.
Yeah. So you see, that's the thing. The solution that you provide is, I help you have difficult conversation. But that's not the desire that drives them wanting to hire you. What drives them wanting to hire you is, bro, the business is failing.
Yeah.
And it's chaos. Our customers are not happy. Our team people are not, it's just chaos, right? And so the more powerful piece of content there would be to literally come out on video and say, if you're feeling embarrassed that your business is failing, here's what you need to consider. Here are the three secret killers of all. Let's say your target audience was, let's say, a service-based business.
Yes.
Here are the three silent killers of service-based businesses. Number one, not having difficult conversations. So you see, the more powerful piece of content that you can create is not the one where you give them what you think they need, which is you think they need to have more difficult conversations, and they do, but that's not what they would resonate with first. I think they would resonate the most with what keeps them up at night isn't, oh, Jennifer can't have difficult conversations. What keeps them up at night is, how am I going to make payroll this month?
Yeah. We're losing clients.
So that's what the actual more packaging of the content is more powerful. And then the here's how to have difficult conversation is what is weaved in, but that's not the hook.
Yep.
Do you know who's interested in the topics of how to have different conversations? Other organizational psychologists. Other experts like you. And that's what I mean by the curse of knowledge. The curse of knowledge is when you know so much about a topic that what you know, it becomes so vast. It's hard to see the full picture when you're inside it. And so I guess that's kind of what I do. I come in and I go, wait a minute, let's pull out big picture here. What is the real problem here? What keeps them up at night? Oh, they're afraid they won't make payroll. They're afraid the business is failing. Okay, so we need to speak on that pain point. Yeah. Like leave the difficult conversation part for after you've sold them on the idea that you're the person to help them, right? And so that's one of the easiest things that I think businesses find the biggest shift and go, oh, wow, yeah, when you put it that way, there's only very few problems that you can bring up. It's either business is failing, lack of sales, right? Or bad customer retention. That's another common problem. Like, we're getting customers easily, but they're not staying with us.
For sure.
Same thing with teams. Team retention is very poor. Like, that's a problem that you can spot.
Yes.
And what else? Another problem is it's lack of we're making sales, but we're not making profit. That's another one that's like very straight to the point. And we're making profit, but we're not making enough revenue. So if we want to sell the business, the valuation is going to be, so we want to increase the valuation.
Well, you have cash flow problems as well.
Exactly, or cash flow problems. So you see, that's the thing. The businesses, there's only a couple problems really. And we have to, in our marketing materials, we have to tap into those and just shift just slightly the headline. So instead of, I have a lot of AI products that we sell. And the headline, I could either make a headline that says, here's how to use AI to make photos of you, right? That's one headline. Or another headline is, here's how to create $2,000 photo shoots without being on camera, right? You're like, oh, wait, what? Or here's how to, like, one of the biggest problems for my clients is that they need a lot of ads because they need like constant stream of new ads. So I'd say, so I could say like, here's how to create 1,000 ads without ever having to be on camera. And they're like, wait, what? I want that.
Can I get away with
that? Or even as simple as like one of my top headlines was actually like, here's how to get your next 1,000 followers. Like people like to.
That's easily digestible by the person watching it instead of
like something jargony, something like, for example, I'm really passionate about personally. I'm very fascinated in the personality typing and things and the profiling, but not everybody is. And so imagine if I was talking about, and if I made my entire content about that, I would very quickly exhaust the audience and people would start getting bored because
This what all,
this
not
would
what we're
speak
looking
up
for.
to other marketing professionals like me, but like a business owner, they're just like, can you just tell me
Yes.
how to get leads, please? I just
Yep.
want leads. I don't want this.
It's his personality jargon.
Exactly. So I think really it's about human psychology at the end of the
Yeah.
day. What you do is human psychology.
Yes.
What I do is human psychology, and it's really just
Just from a different perspective.
yeah.
Katya, thank you for the workshop. I do enjoy the practical
Yeah?
aspects. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm quite a tactile kind of person,
Yeah.
so that's why I DIY'd it as well. So I
Yeah.
do enjoy that process. So I appreciate it.
Oh,
you
no, of
coming
course,
from that
absolutely.
point of view.
Yeah, see, I don't just do astrology.
Speaking of astrology, and we're now nearing the end of our episode, I wanted to put up
Okay.
a fishbone, and as we've discussed, I would like to kindly ask you to pick one up. You can scramble them a little bit if you want. Read it out loud and give us your answer. Hopefully, it's related to astrology. Let me
Think I
see.
got one? Okay. Let's see. How do you prioritize self-care in your busy schedule?
Oh, you can read it back. You can read it back.
I know.
That's
Yeah, how do you prioritize self-care in your busy schedule? That's a good question. My form of self-care is very different. I think most people, they find self-care is like taking a bath, or I can't do that. Oh, my brain cannot. Like
Okay.
my brain cannot handle silence. It cannot. So actually, what's funny is, for me, self-care for me is more things like playing chess, or playing the piano, or going to the gym, something that's more active, right?
engaging. Yeah.
Now, how I find time, I'll be honest, I just try to do it in the morning.
First thing in the morning. Okay.
I wake up, and if I don't go to the gym straight away, I will not go. Not a chance. So I will wake up, and that's the first thing that I do, and I try to go at least 3 to 5 times a week, and first thing in the morning. Another thing I started recently is every day write 3 pages of handwritten thoughts without any agenda.
Okay.
That's borrowed from the artist's way. It's the artist's way method. You just do 3 pages of anything that's on your mind. I am I'm a hypochondriac, which means that anytime I feel like, oh no, I'm not feeling well, I just chill, and I go, okay, I'm not gonna work today then. So
Okay.
I've become very aware of if something's off. I just take the week off. In fact, last year, and this is, it's very easy for me, very hard for me to take time off, but sometimes you have to. So last year I got a health challenge completely out of the blue. I started having allergic reactions to everything out of nowhere, and I made a very difficult decision to just take 3 months health sabbatical, and I just let my fiance and just run everything, and I just had to take. I've never taken 3 months off in my life. Like, I've worked since I was 15, so to take 3 months off, that was insanity to me. But I did it because, and this was my thinking. My thinking is, if I don't take care of my health short term, it's going to affect the business and everyone, the whole team. And I think that's the biggest thing as a leader you have to ask yourself. It's not just oh, you need to take care and take time off just for yourself and for your well-being, but you're responsible for other people, and their well-being is on your hands too. So if you're not feeling good, everything will crumble. So sometimes you have to take the 3 months off. So make sure you have an emergency fund, and make sure you have systems that work without you there. That's it.
Yep.
Easy. And that's it. I think that's kind of how I do it. I'm like Adele. Adele drops an album, makes millions,
And that's
and then F's off for
hibernate a
6
while.
weeks, and then goes off for 6 weeks, and then comes back with another album. That's Adele for you. That's me. I come in and I have last year that happened. So I went completely silent from December to February, and then March to August we
Yes.
went like to the moon, and then after then we just kind of went back to normal and just chill, and now we're kind of getting restless and waiting for the next
big thing.
for the next sprint. Yeah, that's just the story of my business. So in the meantime, to prioritize self-care in your busy schedule, do it first thing in the morning.
Well, I think getting the most important things out first. So it's like paying yourself first,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
got on with the
Exactly.
with your day.
Exactly. And don't surround yourself with positive people. Like don't
Yes.
don't go out with I stay away from complainers if you can, honestly, because that's another form of self-care. It's who you surround yourself with, and you know.
Such a because I'm remembering something that you said at the very beginning of this episode. It's such a wonderful round circle that we did. It's the environment you surround
Yeah.
yourself with.
Yeah.
So that's something that we mentioned earlier on today. And surrounding yourself with positive people, the people that bring you joy, is such a wonderful way of how, so like you change the environment that you work with. So
Definitely, definitely. You know, the environment and the people and the country, the beach. It makes all the difference. You know, I tell you, I tell you actually, living in Malta, I know for those of you that were born here, for you it's not. It's like, oh, it's just the beach, it's just the
Yes,
island.
yes.
But for me, every day I walk around, all I keep thinking to myself is, I live where people vacation, and that's amazing,
very true.
right? And I see because I have a sea view and I see it every day, and every day, me and my partner, we always look at the window and we go, wow, so pretty. And that's sometimes it's the small things, right? Sometimes it's the small things, and that in comparison to life in London and going on the tube and the chaos that
different
was,
dynamic.
it's kind of like, how can I when you live in, I think when you live in Malta, you it's easier to also take time and just enjoy it and take care, because you're surrounded by people who've literally taken a week off of their lives to come here.
Yes.
So it's like, I try to appreciate it more. I didn't grow up with it, and you know, maybe, I don't know, give it another 10 years and maybe I'll be like, oh, it's just the beach.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. Exactly. So yeah, environment, mindset, and the right people.
For sure. Katya, thank you for being here. I'm glad that we've managed finally
Yeah.
to make this episode, and thank you for the energetic conversation, but also there are a lot of nuggets of wisdom throughout the episode as well. So thank you for being a guest on the Growth Schema
Thanks
podcast.
for having me, and thanks for anyone watching. And go build your personal brands.
Thank you, Katya.